Hi everybody, how are you all? I hope you're all well. We had some maintenance done to the power lines in our area, so we were without electricity for 12 hours yesterday, from 6 a.m. till 6 p.m. Anyway, instead of getting frustrated these days, I have decided to make the most of these times, and for the first time in a very, very long time, I truly took the day off from everything yesterday. Schoolwork, videos, housework. I basically only made my bed and brushed my teeth. I spent most of the day reading. I cannot remember when the last time was that I read a straightforward novel, just a relaxing fantasy. Well, I am a great supporter of our old age homes thrift store. So I dove into one of the two books I bought there. Well, actually, my grandson bought the one book for me. Well, yesterday I read Touch Not the Cat by Mary Stewart. I'm not really a big fan of romance novels, but this one was not too bad, and I enjoyed the escapism. Anyway, I'm back, so let's get on with today's video. I'm aware that this week was the 25th anniversary of Diana's death. Now, I do not always agree with the criticism I get when I talk about Charles because despite my dislike of him, I usually only bring you facts which is already in the media. However, when it comes to Diana, I find it hard to stick to the facts alone, as I have emotions when it comes to Diana. And I often find it difficult to separate facts and emotions, and that is why I do not like making videos about Diana. I'm not delusional, and I know Diana was, in fact, a complete stranger. But in a way, I always felt that I understood Diana. Whether I agreed with her actions or not, I always felt that I understood what she felt and thought. I know it's silly, but it is what it is, and therefore Diana's death has always been and will likely always be very, very sad for me, and something I thus prefer not to dwell on too often. Okay, so back to Harry, Meghan, and the rest of the royal family. Let's start with Meghan. I could not do a video yesterday, but I did do a community post last night, and yes, it has now been confirmed by Lebo M, John Carney, and Mr. Mandela's grandson that Meghan spoke absolute tosh when she said that Lebo M likened her marriage to Harry to the release of Nelson Mandela. Absolute rubbish. An utter and complete lie. And I made sure to thank Mr. Meraki, Mr. Kani, and Mr. Mandla Mandela for their honesty, their guts, and for standing up for our country, our people, and our history. And this morning, I received acknowledgement of my DMs and email from Mr. Mandela and the Mandela Foundation, for which I'm very grateful. At least my people have the courtesy of acknowledging my letters and email, unlike the officers of the royal family and many others. So I thank you, sir. With our propensity to say things like it is and our good manners, we are slowly making huge inroads in the world's respect for us. As far as Meghan is concerned, I think it is time people, and by people I mean members of the royal family, her husband, British Parliament, the British ambassador to the United States, content management for Spotify, heads and content management for Netflix, and so forth, to look at this woman objectively and consider the damage she has already done and further potential damage she could do to them, their reputation, and or their brand. I do not think that it is offensive or derogatory to state that Meghan Markle is mentally ill, if not completely insane, because I now firmly believe that there is something seriously wrong with her. We are all of the opinion that she is a narcissist, and I think she had proven this over and over. But I now firmly believe that she is actually a psychopath, and here is why. A narcissist may lie and could or will lie because they have no empathy and do not accept responsibility for their actions. But regular lying for no good or apparent reason does not make someone a narcissist. Meghan is, however, a pathological liar, or then suffers from mythomania. Unlike telling the occasional white lie to avoid hurting someone's feelings or getting in trouble, a pathological liar lies for no apparent reason. Meghan's lying, as observed now over a long period of time, appears to stem from a mental condition such as antisocial personality disorder. And this is because her stories are often dramatic, complicated, and detailed. She also appears animated and almost happy to tell these stories instead of hesitant or cautious. There are times at which she appears to believe her own lies, which indicates a form of delusion. Meghan appears to be a quick thinker when it comes to lying and shows no outward sign of lying, such as long pauses and avoiding eye contact. Another trait of a pathological liar and or someone with APD is that they are often the victim in many of their stories. And guess what? They often use word salad or then vague responses to questions. And haven't we heard that before? Another interesting thing about pathological liars is that they are quite adept and able to beat a polygraph test because they can or may believe their own lies and therefore do not show the same responses to lying. No sweating, no increased heart rate, no excessive blinking, absolutely nothing. This is one of a number of reasons why polygraphs are not submissible to court. Okay, but this goes much further. Lying without an emotional or physical response is only one of the many signs that someone may be a psychopath. Some people argue that Meghan is instead a sociopath and not a psychopath. But I beg to differ, and here is why. A psychopath lacks feelings of guilt, remorse, and empathy. A sociopath lacks remorse but can experience guilt and empathy. If Meghan was a sociopath and not a psychopath, she would have felt at least some guilt and some embarrassment over previous lies she was caught out on, and she would have been more careful not to be caught on other lies in the public domain again. A sociopath do feel emotions such as rage, but it is fleeting and not non-existent. A psychopath can only pretend to feel emotions. Now, you're all going to say, oh, but we have seen her angry or upset. Yes, but we also saw how she can look angry or upset, but within a split second or two, turn around and smile at the cameras or the people. We saw how she could go 1, 2, 3, cry, left eye or right eye. That, my dears, is not normal and not real emotion. It is only the mechanics of being sad or upset. Sociopaths will form close and lasting attachments to one or a few people. Meghan does not. She appears unable to form true emotional attachment. We can see that. And her father, for one, is the perfect example. Normal people may even get mad at their parents. We all do. We do sometimes. It happens. We are all human. But because of the parent-child bond, we will be emotional, even about the anger situation. And in all likelihood, it will blow over. Meghan, however, is able to just cut it off. A sociopath is irresponsible and will thus likely never achieve much or any success. A sociopath may also regularly fall foul of the law. A psychopath, however, tends to be successful. And whether we like Meghan or not, she had a measure of success. I mean, there is 7 years in Suits and snagging a British prince, to name but two. One thing a sociopath and psychopath do have in common is dishonesty, constant lying, and deception. A sociopath is more reckless and aggressive, whereas a psychopath is more manipulative. And we have seen that with our own eyes, how manipulative Meghan can be. A psychopath, however, is narcissistic and has superficial charm. And we saw that in Meghan too. And that, my dears, is exactly why I believe Meghan is a psychopath. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I rest my case. Remember, a psychopath uses his or her charm and shiny veneer to lure his or her victims. And if you don't believe me, go read all about Ted Bundy. Anyway, in my opinion, it is not Meghan's political ambitions nor her drop of black blood which makes her a dangerous and calculating individual, but indeed her psychopathy. Remember, not all narcissists are psychopaths, but all psychopaths are narcissists. Remember, not all psychopaths go about slaughtering people, but they all have the potential of doing so, particularly when delusions come into play. And those delusions can take many, many, many forms. Delusions of grandeur, of being bigger, better, more important, more holy, more intelligent than anyone else. And many, many other things can trigger it. Remember, violence and aggression is something we are actually all capable of. There is indeed such a thing as impulsive aggression, the type of aggression we may show when threatened, but a psychopath do not have the brakes or control that we normally have because they do not have empathy. And that is one of the main differences between any of us and a psychopath. A psychopath will also have a lead up to his or her aggression, such as general hostility. We've seen that in Meghan. Bullying. We've heard that about Meghan. Manipulation. We saw that with Meghan. And intimidation. And we heard and saw her intimidating people. So, does this sound at all familiar to you, or am I just imagining things? I don't think so, but you are welcome to differ from me. Okay, guys, so I think I've made my point as to why I think Meghan is a very dangerous individual. Now, what I cannot understand is that I'm a person who have never ventured into the medical field. You can ask me about property management or visual and performing arts, and then maybe we can talk. I'm a lover of the arts. I am a prolific reader. I love animals. And basically, that is where my expertise lie. Yet, I can see and pick up that there is a serious mental health issue when it concerns Meghan. I can make use of a variety of checklists and books and visual materials such as videos and photographs to make sure that it is not my imagination, but that this woman is truly sick. So, if I can do it, why can't the royal family? Why can't their advisors? And if they can, and if they have actually diagnosed her, then what is the royal family waiting for? How can they not know that there is no cure for her mental illness? Female psychopaths are the rarest of rare breeds. Male psychopaths are more prone to physical aggression, while female psychopaths are the rarest of rare breeds. Male psychopaths are more prone to physical aggression, while female psychopaths use more indirect forms of aggression, like gossiping, excluding people, forming alliances against people, name calling, and verbal abuse. They love the victim card or to play the damsel in distress. They use deception to get what they want. They play games and sabotage relationships. They leverage secrets and personal information, as in use it to blackmail people. They engage other people to do their dirty work. They are emotionally unstable and are very good at pretending. And again, there is no cure. Thus, if the royal family, regardless of advice from doctors, regardless of everything they hear, see, and read, still think that things will get better, they are sadly very, very mistaken because it won't. As a matter of fact, it will get worse. Psychopath or not, the physical body of a psychopath goes through the exact same changes as anyone else's and will go through the exact same hormonal changes as that of any other woman. Meghan will not stop to slag off the royal family until they are destroyed, or until she has found another victim or other victims. That is a fact, and it will get worse as her body, hormones, and circumstances change. At this point, she may still need Harry to elevate her status or to get to the royal family. But the day will come when the distance between Harry and his family had become so great that she cannot reach them through him or his status, at which point her only option will be to hurt them by hurting Harry. And that, my dears, can be in many ways, physically or mentally. Who knows? But it will not be a pretty sight. That is, if he manages to survive. There is now, after these podcasts and the cut interview, no way back for Meghan. It is done. She has nothing left to lose, so to speak. She can now just as well go all out and do her worst. Having said that, it is a two-way street. The royal family have nothing in terms of Harry and Meghan left to lose. And the only way they can save themselves is to completely and utterly and openly distance themselves from Harry and Meghan. If they don't, I can not only see the situation getting worse, but I can also tell you that the general public will start to tar the royal family with the same brush as Harry and Meghan. It is a given. There are times when we keep quiet and go our merry way when we are innocent and not guilty of something we are accused of. And there are times we have to stand our ground and fight back or then fight fire with fire. And this, I'm afraid, is the royal family's time. Meghan and Harry now have them with their backs against the wall. Meghan's lying and rubbish is spilling over into a diplomatic issue between countries. I can guarantee you that after three prominent people from South African society had now spoken out, that it would be advisable for Meghan not to come to South Africa again, as she may run into some very loud protests and likely will be pelted with stuff. She had now tread on the wrong toes and the wrong people. There are people in this country who do not have the restraint of their European brothers and sisters. And she had not touched the holy grail, so to speak, of South African society and among all the people of South Africa, not just a specific group. I can tell you that if the royals and the British Parliament do not act, the consensus will be that they approve of her lie and behavior. And I can tell you that the repercussions will reach beyond Meghan and all the way to the rest of the royal family. And I'm saying this because I know my people. In my opinion, the royal family may think that they have all kinds of options or that they will not be prescribed by the people or whatever they may think. But they do not have many or indeed any options left. The pro-Sussex camp is in the minority, and this had been proven by poll after poll in various newspapers and other forms of media. The other thing is that it appears as if the pro-Sussex camp is also shrinking. So the minority is now getting even smaller. The royal family has no other option but to appease the majority to save themselves. They have to remove Harry from the line of succession, and they have to remove those titles. In a way, they will be doing Harry a favor, as removing the titles will bring Harry and Meghan's relationship to a head. And it is simple. Either she married him for the fame and titles, or she didn't. Either she will leave him, or she won't. But ultimately, it will be better for Harry to find out sooner rather than later. I mean, he's not even 40 yet, and it will be easier for him to start over now than it would be 10, 20 years from now. So, guys, what do you think? Anyway, guys, I think this was a very long rant and I am off. So, I want you to enjoy the rest of your weekend and please take good care of yourselves until we meet again on the next video. Bye.